Hey guys, what I thought I would do is briefly talk about the assignment about writing a research paper example. Before you freak out, I'm not asking for a full research paper. I'm simply asking for an example. Okay, and y'all just, I don't know how to share a screen using YouTube, so I'm just taping it with my phone. But you'll see it's due the 16th, which is next week. And notice I say you can use a paper that you've already written. All right, so that's fine. Or you can use a topic that you're currently working on, or you can create a new one. All right, notice what I said here. Let me zoom in. I don't want a research paper. I just want to see if you could start one. So what you're going to turn in for the assignment is you're going to turn in your research question. In other words, what question are you trying to answer in your paper? And you're going to turn in a list of sources that you would use. Okay? So you can cut and paste website links or titles with their authors of articles and books, and I want at least 4. That's all you got to do. All right? And then what I do is I go into detail about how you could start a paper. All right? The thing is, you've got to develop a question. You can't write a paper on the civil rights movement. That's a book, okay? You can't write a paper on not a 4-page paper on Muhammad Ali or Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. Way too broad. You've got to cut it down where you're asking a specific question. For example, and you can read the rest of this yourself, but you might ask a question: did Martin Luther King approve? What was Martin Luther King's reaction to race riots where blacks burned down neighborhoods in 1968? Okay, that's a narrow question. You might ask a question if you're doing something on Malcolm X. You might say, what was the relationship like between Malcolm X and Martin Luther King between, say, 1960 and X's death in 1965? You might ask a question, how was the Confederate flag used between the 1900 and 1990? Okay, that kind of thing. You're trying to figure out a question. All right. Now, Wikipedia is a great source. And you may think, well, my teacher told me to never use Wikipedia. Well, your teacher was wrong. To use it as your only source, of course not. But to use it as a starting place for your paper, it's a wonderful source. All right. So here's one on the flags of the Confederate States of America. Now, this just goes into great detail about how the Confederate flag evolved during the war. Okay. But then when you go down here, and you would want to read that information if you're doing research, you would start down here with controversy. Now, notice this is what you need to think about. Footnotes, footnotes, footnotes. All right. So 48, 49, 50. All right. So let's scroll down. Confederate Flag Anti-Defamation League. All right. You can go to that link. That could be a source. Diane McWhirter, the Confederate Battle Flag, Clashing Symbols, New York Times. June the 10th, that's a modern one. The book John Koski, The Confederate Flag. The full link to this book on Amazon, or you could find it in any library. That kind of thing. With COVID, you may not be able to access that book. I'm not asking you to write a full paper. You're just giving me a research question, and you're using sources. All right. Notice Becky Little, Why the Confederate Flag Made a 20th Century Comeback, National Geographic. Okay? Some of these links you might not be able to open, but many of them you could. Associated Press, I guarantee you could find that. Confederate Flag Removed, A History of the Divisive Symbol. So you get the point. And notice at the bottom, here are books that you could look up. Now, for this assignment, all you're doing is coming up with a research question, a narrow research question, and a list of sources that you would use for a paper that you've already written or for a new topic. Okay, and you will turn that in on what was it? The 16th, which is Thursday at by midnight Thursday. Okay, there you go. Good luck.